Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, a new report from Deutsche Bank says cryptocurrencies could transition from being a cash alternative to a full-blown replacement over the next decade. The report, which attempts to predict future trends in the world of finance, calls cryptocurrency the 21st century cash. They said, until now, cryptocurrencies have been additions rather than substitutes to the global inventory of money. Over the next decade, this may change. Overcoming regulatory hurdles will broaden their appeal and raise the potential to eventually replace cash, end quote. The report highlights increasing inflation as a potential catalyst for the rise of alternative forms of money like Bitcoin. They said, eventually, it is possible that inflation will become more and more embedded in our system and doubts will rise about the sustainability of fiat money. The demand for alternative currencies will therefore likely be significantly higher by the time 2030 rolls around. Will fiat currency survive the policy dilemma that authorities will experience as they try to balance higher yields with record levels of debt? That's the multi-trillion-dollar or Bitcoin question for the decade ahead, end quote. As for the pace of adoption, the report predicts that there could be 200 million blockchain wallet users by 2030. I think it's actually going to be a bit more than that already. If I'm not mistaken, we've gone over some numbers before in the past, and it's not even believed. I think over 50 million people on the planet. No, even, what was it? It was Coinbase alone. Coinbase put out the figures. I'm pretty sure it was over 50 million, like in general around the world, have some type of a blockchain crypto-based wallet. I don't remember the exact number of people on their platform that hold Bitcoin, but I know it's also in the several million. So I think a 200 million estimate within the next 10 years and was that 17, 18 days, 19 days is a bit conservative. They said, assuming governments back cryptocurrencies, which I think they will relatively soon. Even more so, we've heard of a couple of them trying to issue things against Bitcoin, and consumers want them, which I assume also they will. Adoption rates will drive the timeline for mainstream use. The chart below shows the adoption rates of blockchain wallets with the equivalent of the internet. It is the early days, but the curves are similar after adjusting the scale. Indeed, if current trends continue, there could be 200 million blockchain wallet users by 2030, end quote. Here's the actual chart right here. For those of you not looking at the screen, there's a dark blue line and a light blue line, and they have the adoption rate or curve, if you will, of the number of internet users in the dark blue line, and almost directly next to it is the adoption of blockchain wallet users. And the trend line appears to follow directly next to it. This has been something that a lot of other crypto analysts have said from the very beginning, that we would see these trend lines, but obviously it's not as, I want to say accurate as we normally see it as far as the ups and downs and the jumps and things like that, but I assume they smooth it out because it's simply a lot easier to do. It is widely believed amongst many people, a number of economists as well, even people who didn't really care for cryptocurrencies and or Bitcoin in the early years. They've all said if inflation continues, which one can only assume that it is, I don't foresee a future anytime within the next 10 years that governments will simply go, no, this isn't working. We have to stop everything. Turn off the machines. I'm pretty sure they're going to continue reckless behavior, as it were. And as long as Bitcoin, the network, continues working and the issuance rate continues dropping, and even, I guess, on the sidelines as well, if prices continue to rise, this is also a huge catalyst, if you hadn't known before, if you didn't see, for people to get into the cryptocurrency space. Prices cause people to have money, euro, dollar, yen signs in their eyes. They run for it, they buy up some of it, and when a crash happens, because crashes always happen in the market, we usually have a fraction of the people, the new people who got in, who still remain. And then it kind of continues to go over and over and over and over, and this is where we get these lines from. Here's the actual PDF right here. It's actually quite long. I think it's 78 pages or something like that. It's called Concept Imagine 2030. A number of, they highlight a number of, I kind of actually want to read this. I won't even lie. I wonder exactly where they see things going. It's not very often that we enter a brand new decade. And I actually kind of want to read stuff from 2010 as well to see exactly where they thought we would actually be right now. Some of the stuff that they cover in this says the end of fiat money, China's consumer decade, the end of high profit margins, the fate of food, rise of the drones, whether precision medicine can go mainstream. There's a lot. The on-demand life. I don't, or rather, I won't go too into it in this video. Maybe another time. Maybe I want to try and live stream again. I've been so busy. I'm not even joking. Like, the last couple of months have been really ridiculous. Like, I plan on live streaming sometime earlier in the day. And by the time it swings around 7 or 8 o'clock, I'm like, I can't. I'm completely wiped out from everything that I've been doing. There's so much that we expect to happen within the next 10 years that are going to completely shape the world, as far as the end of fiat currencies or the world moving away from fiat currencies, a completely digital future, things with augmented reality. It's very fascinating as well. If you've never heard of it, this is now an inside-outside joke. I don't know how to put it otherwise between me and my friends. If you've never heard of it, it's going to, I can't promise anything, but it's probably going to change your life and everyone's life within the next 10 years or so. Look up the technology called CRISPR. CRISPR. There's actually a documentary on Netflix. I think it's called Unnatural Selection. A lot of people, and I remember I've said before in other videos, I think a lot of people don't understand how far we've already come. I think a lot of people think that a lot of the things that we have now that we're not going to have for the next 30 or so years, it is expected that the major car companies are going to start rolling out their self-driving car fleets next year. I think it's Tesla, it's Uber, it's a number. They've all purchased all of these things. They've been doing a dramatic amount of testing. Self-driving trucks are expected to actually hit a number of cities around the world next year. They've been waiting for approval. A lot of them have received approval sometime during this year. Yeah, once again, look up CRISPR, CRISPR. It's probably the most fascinating thing that we have right now. And between what that is going to offer and how finance is expected to evolve, especially if we end up having some type of a stock market crash, recession type indicator thing that could be happening, the future will be, and I say this in the nicest way possible, the future will be very bright for those who have money. I don't know how to sugarcoat that. I really can't. All right, everybody, let's move on. Next up, the Ukrainian government has approved the final version of a money laundering law that will handle virtual currencies and virtual asset service providers, or VASPs. Per the FATF guidelines on the 6th of Russia, the Rada, Ukraine's legislative body, published a final version of the law that considers virtual assets to be a store of wealth, while also recognizing its potential use in financial crimes such as money laundering, fraud, and the financing of terrorists. But once again, not even to be fair, we know this can be done with anything of value. I assume they just have to kind of throw it into the paper. I always feel like they do that simply to kind of let people know that they approve, but don't get too comfortable with the amount of approval that we have, if that makes any sense. The new law includes some guidelines on how the government intends to monitor and regulate the trading of cryptocurrencies. One of the guidelines focuses on individual crypto transactions worth less than 30,000 hryvnia, around $1,300 from which the government will only collect the public key of the sender. What? Will only collect the public key of the sender for the purpose of financial monitoring. However, once the transaction exceeds that amount, the government will apply verification to both sender and receiver. The process will include identity verification as well as the verification of the nature of the business relationship. Long story short, this is now another country who has released their cryptocurrency law regulation, what you can and cannot do. While not the most favorable, we've seen a lot better from a couple of other countries. The fact that it is considered a store of wealth, it is legal, you can still trade it with restrictions. I guess that's the good part that we have to try to see. I expect still a number of other countries to give unfavorably favorable cryptocurrency regulation within the coming months. I assume they're going to mimic stuff like this. A lot of them are still very afraid of what cryptocurrencies could do, even more so when you look at the significance of a major bank like Deutsche Bank. While they may not, or allegedly, are not the most nice and or ethical, allegedly, so people say, the significance of them releasing information like this as to where they think digital currencies can be going, and this information is then released to the public. This means that this has been spoken about between them, amongst other institutions for a very long amount of time. So I'm pretty sure they have all been warned of the risks of cryptocurrencies and where they could go, what have you. Anyway, this is another country. We're still waiting for I want to say the big three. Are there even three left? 1, 2. Sure, there's a third one somewhere. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, no, wait. Before we even continue, I just saw the word up here. Yeah, remember this a couple of months ago as well, and I said I thought that was very, very weird. For those not looking at the screen, this is from the 6th of November. Just about a month ago, it says Binance to help Ukraine prepare cryptocurrency legislation by the end of 2019. 1, it happened. 2, I thought it was very weird. And this is, and I don't mean to keep beating a dead horse. This goes exactly back to the discussion that I was having about the Gemini twins yesterday. And I was like, the Gemini twins could have been at the forefront of all these things. Binance has been around for just about 2 years. The Gemini twins have been around for, how are they, 95 years old or something like that? They could have been the people to go to a country and been like, we can help you with crypto legislation. But it was the people from Binance, not praising Binance, as it were. It was more of when I first discussed this, I said it was kind of odd. And I wonder exactly how favorable the legislation would be in the way of cryptocurrency and also for Binance. One does not simply, as an entity, go to help a country simply to help them. If we end up getting news within the next, 2 weeks, Binance is opening an office in Ukraine, then it kind of just, apples and oranges. That doesn't make any sense. There's a quid pro quo. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Let's move on. I think I said it right. Quid pro quo. I think I said it right. Next up, where is it? There we go. 8 former developers from New York-based investment bank Morgan Stanley are launching a cryptocurrency derivatives exchange called Femix. Why not? The company claims the exchange is state-of-the-art and poised to be one of the most advanced in the industry, they said. Femix is 10 times faster than traditional crypto trading platforms with the ability to manage 300,000 transactions per second. Femix's low-latency system architecture delivers an order entry and response time of less than 1 millisecond while facilitating stable algorithmic trading, end quote. Femix offers 100x leverage, my gosh, to retail and institutional traders in Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP perpetual contracts. Contracts are held or backed by crypto assets, which is very important. I always have a soft spot for news about institutions or companies who are offering derivatives, this, that, I don't care what it is. If it is backed by the actual crypto assets, that means that those assets are being accumulated or have already begun to be accumulated by the company as they are backed by the crypto assets. The company also says it intends to support contracts backed by traditional financial products, including stock indexes, interest rates, foreign exchange, agricultural commodities, metal, and energy. And then they go on to pat themselves on the back. Money, 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 yada, yada, yada. Here's the actual website right here. This is not paid advertising. It is more of I love when stuff like this kind of takes place. That's a really weird image of a woman. Anyway, the entire point being, we're seeing a lot of these things pop up. I'm not exactly sure why it's all happening towards the end of the year. Maybe everyone simply applied for something at the beginning of this year. Now they're all receiving their documentation. Not really sure, but we're seeing a lot of things, many things, connected to derivatives, options, or ETPs, not ETFs. and futures. Very big things. Last year, we did not have many or any of these things. It appears everyone has, at least many of the institutional investors have done their research into what can be launched against Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies. As far as, once again, we spoke about the seasoned investors, as they call themselves, wanted other things besides just simply buying and holding the cryptocurrencies. They wanted to be able to play around with them as well. And I mean, with 100x leverage, have fun. Remember the news story that we had? It was actually quite sad. About 6 months ago, there was a trader. I think he entered it, and this is from what the news that we got. I think he entered a trade incorrectly. Apparently ended up losing around $26 million, somewhere within that figure. I remember it was a double-digit million figure. Yeah, you should know how that story ends. But yeah, let's move on. Next up, Bitcoin futures focused NYDIG Bitcoin Strategy Fund has procured approval from the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, entitling it with the right to offer its shares to institutional investors. According to an SEC filing that came into effect on the 2nd of December, the New York Digital Investor Group, LLC, NYDIG, is now authorized to offer its shares to institutional investors, including registered investment advisors, their clients, and other eligible investors. For those who intend to invest in the shares, the fund does not put forward a minimum investment requirement. How great. I was looking for something like that. I was hoping to put $50 billion into something. The fund describes itself as a non-diversified, closed-end management investment company that continuously offers its shares with the objective of achieving capital appreciation by investing in Bitcoin futures contracts. The proposed maximum offering price per share is $10, while its initial capital is $25 million. Detailing its investment strategy, the company noted that the fund will only invest in cash-settled Bitcoin futures trading on commodity exchanges registered with the U.S. Commodities Futures Trading Commission. What ended up happening after this news ended up coming out? It says right here, Bitcoin briefly breaks above 7,500 after SEC approves BTC fund. Sure. Not exactly sure why, for some reason, regardless if the fund is... Rather, we've seen more movement, and stay with me here, we've seen more movement from funds or futures or anything that hasn't been physically settled in Bitcoin, as opposed to those that are cash settled, which I find a little weird, but it kind of is what it is. Apparently the market moved up. I think we are going to have proper information as to exactly why the market moved up, but it is widely believed that after the SEC approved another Bitcoin futures fund institutional money investors thing, that the market reacted to this and kind of moved up, which, I'll be honest with you, I'm always a good 70-30 with news like this, as far as I find it weird that the world would react to the approval of another Bitcoin futures fund that isn't settled in Bitcoin. But the world doesn't move when we have news about countries adopting Bitcoin and or loading up on Bitcoin or buying Bitcoin. So the market moved up for something. And apparently, according to the news, this was the reason why. And to kind of finish things off, Coinbase Card, a crypto-powered Visa debit card from major exchange Coinbase, now supports DAI, that is DAI, a stablecoin pegged to the United States dollar. According to a blog post on the 6th of December, the first stablecoin that is available on Coinbase Card alongside major cryptocurrencies Bitcoin and Litecoin is now also DAI. As one DAI is equivalent to $1, the addition of the stablecoin on Coinbase Card aims to allow customers to spend crypto with less volatility. So per the announcement, Cointelegraph has reported comment from Coinbase's team on why the company has decided to choose DAI rather than one of the multitude of US dollar pegged stablecoins. Coinbase has not responded as of press time. The article will be updated upon receipt of their commentary. I'm going to assume, now, it's stay with me on this one. They probably have a monetary interest in DAI. You know, I think Coinbase has about 4 or 5 different stable coins on their platform. One can only assume that they put DAI on their Visa card next to Bitcoin and Litecoin first, because it probably benefits them in some sort of way monetarily. I know, weird, right? That people want to make money. But we've seen this before, and I mentioned that also before, not shutting it down, but mentioned it before with Tezos as well. Tezos came out of left field, and Coinbase hugged them quite warmly. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The entire point is, apparently now DAI, if you have this Visa debit card from Coinbase, DAI is now on it. I wonder if they're going to, I assume they're going to be adding other coins relatively soon. I don't know if it's pending regulatory approval or if it's another situation from 2016 where Coinbase just doesn't want to add anything else to their platform. It does seem a little bit weird though. And I'll be honest with you, if I was a Coinbase or I couldn't think of a clever name, Base, and I had the ability to issue a Visa card, I would probably at least offer it for the top 10, excluding 2 coins. If you can figure out, if I made my own Visa debit card and I put the top 10 cryptocurrencies in it, can you guess which 2 coins I would exclude? It's fairly obvious. If you can guess which 2, tell me in the comment section below, because I know exactly which 2 coins would never be on my card. Anyway, here's the actual blog post right here. Is introducing DAI, the first stablecoin on Coinbase Card. Yay, I've been wanting to spend my DAI through Coinbase Card when I go buy nachos at Walmart. I'm gonna continue on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Bare Bones Mining, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Woody and Daisy, Triple M and J, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mil Weezy, Mechanic, Strange Radio Central, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Cryptopolis, Nicholas, One Earth, One Piece, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich, The Third, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto Beer Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes, 2 Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Sammy Buucha, Ting Tang, Walla Walla Bing Bang, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, and Shoop Shoop Diddy Wop, Hummer Hummer Wang Dang. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Before I forget, someone was asking me in the comment section yesterday. I'm sorry for not being able to get back to you. I saw that there was a comment, and there was a rush of other stuff, and I was answering other people. I do apologize. The point I'm trying to make is someone was asking me if during the downtrend, if I had sold any of my altcoins, and the answer is no, I have not sold anything. Another person was asking me if I had sold my Omise Go. Nope, have not sold my Omise Go. Have not sold my EOS. Have not sold my Ether, have not sold my Litecoin. I think I have a few ADA, maybe, question mark. Have not sold them. Don't have any Tron, don't have a lot of these other coins as well. Any altcoins that I had before, I still have. Still holding on to them. I think there will be an appropriate time for me to sell them and or convert them. And it's looking likely that at some point, I don't know when, as opposed to transferring into fiat, I may simply switch into other cryptos, bigger cryptos, larger cryptos, eventually. Don't know when, but it hasn't happened yet. That's just to answer those questions that were in the comment section. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at $7,503. It went up over the course of the last, 18 hours? It went up. It looks like it's trying to slink back down again. I think that might just be confusion as to why it popped up before, what the hype was. Litecoin is up around 3.3%. What else? What was the other one? Tezos is also up by it was actually up by 13% when I before started the video. I assume that's also doing a little slink down as well. No Tezos news that I could find rapidly that may have come out, but apparently something happened with Tezos. I'm not sure if it's just a runoff of the news that we had over the last couple of days. I think it was Binance who added Tezos staking to their platform. And there was another company who came out with Tezos as well, which still leads me to believe that there's some type of a back-end financial interest. I mean, there are other coins that already stake, but for some reason, everyone's relying or focusing on Tezos. Oh, look at that. Tezos is number 13. Let's see. 3924778. Ooh. If Tezos pops up again, it'll pass by Tron, and it'll definitely pass by Cardano. Only, air quote, $40 million to be able to do that. And I assume if you can have a 12% pop-up, might even increase anymore. How weird would that be if Tezos ended up going into the top 10? That would be quite fascinating indeed. Anything else really significant that's up? Ravencoin is also up. Educare, for those of you who are holding that coin. Anyway, I do hope that you all enjoy. I always love news from large institutions. This is not the first time that we've had a bank who's come forward and they're like, yeah, crypto's probably going to take over. And it's always significant to me, the fact that they're paying attention to it. If they did not, it's the same exact thing. Remember before, a couple of years ago, whenever we would have all the Jamie Dimons of the world, and they're like, crypto's garbage, I hate it, I don't like Bitcoin, Bitcoin's awful. And then we found out that they were holding it and buying it and accumulating it and potentially also maybe even mining it. Whenever they talk about it, it's because it's something significant. When you have a major, like, there's a reason why Deutsche Bank didn't create a PDF about cucumbers or like pickled radishes or something like that and how they're going to take over the world. It's because this is a huge thing happening in the world right now, which also still bewilders me as to why there aren't more people within the cryptocurrency space, or people who don't not even read between the lines, who just read the actual lines. When we get a constant thing of bankers, people have been on Wall Street for 20, 30, 40 years, and they say where the cryptocurrency space is going. Even if we just continue on our current adoption trend, that is, if we continue this, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% more people into the cryptocurrency space every year, as opposed to an actual like jump of several 100 million people who may end up entering it, where the space is going to go, how high prices are going to go, what deflationary cryptocurrencies mean to the space. I pay attention to all of it. I'm sure a lot of you also are as well. At least I hope that you are. I know it's difficult. Try not to pay attention to the prices too much. Go about your life, do other things, but also make sure to remain having ear to the ground for the cryptocurrency space. Understand where this space is going and how significant that it is. I find stuff like this very fascinating, and this is why I was saying I might even read through it as well, just to see exactly what they mean or what they could potentially be talking about. Because I remember also there were a number of, they weren't banks, they were former investment manager, hedge fund guy, yada, yada, yada. They used to release information like this in 2015 to 2016, and I used to read them on my tablet on the train. Some of the stuff you would read was always, it was completely nonsensical. Like, we could see Bitcoin definitely hitting between 5 to 10,000 over the next couple of years. We can definitely see a $20,000 to $50,000 Bitcoin, and it's like, yeah, but Bitcoin's not that high right now. Bitcoin's definitely not going to go there. And then when Bitcoin actually ends up hitting that price, and you see the economic trends that have followed or took place over the course of those 4 years, and it all kind of fits into the picture. So once again, if you are unaware of the things that are going to take place over the next decade, please read about it, because it's going to, I think, take a lot of people by surprise. The things that we have, the things that we can already do, a lot of it is just simply waiting for government approval to simply be released to the public. I mean, really, once again, it's called CRISPR, CRISPR. Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all, every single one of you, once again, for watching and or listening. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.